Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a grand campaign for you. Our first round here is going to be the Union Camp, followed up by our second map, which is going to be a Hooker's Push. Before we get into that, thank you to our Patreon members for the support. If you'd like to support, go to the link in the description where you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Our teams for today, on the Union campaign side, who will be playing CSA round 1, then Union round 2. You have the 42nd PA, Iron Brigade, Free States Brigade, 36th New York, 9th Corps, 17th Michigan, 9th Missouri, 1st Delaware, and the Irish Volunteer Brigade. Whereas on the CSA campaign side, who's playing Union round 1, CSA round 2, you have the Colquitt's Brigade, 11th Mississippi, 12th Virginia, Hampton's Legion, Davis Brigade, and the 15th Alabama. So server pop today is 210 inbounds, 4 towards the Union side. Looks like no one is taking artillery except for Union, who has 3 guys, so that inbounds is overall pretty even. So we missed the first couple of minutes of this. It looks like Union's just been completely pushed back through the camp, though, which might be a thing to miss, but had to take care of something quickly before this, so apologies for missing the first couple minutes. But I mean, it really just looks like CSA kind of overran the Union line, and they have basically pushed them out of the camp entirely up to their snake fence. Now, snake fence, I think, here is the edge of where CSA can go to the point of contentions in the camp, but there's no good defensive spot for Union, so if CSA just plays aggressive and kind of overwhelm Union, and that's exactly what they did here. We'll go through the frontline reporters and whatnot shortly as this aggression is kind of playing out. It's kind of hard to see with the sun and smoke and everything. Not all CSA is here. FSB, Midwest Brigade, and IVB, they're up here. 36 New York as well. A mix of a lot of regiments here on both sides. But it looks like Union will probably be able to outshoot, especially since a good chunk of CSA still kind of holding back in the camp. Frontline reporters today, your CSA campaign perspective, or the guy on USA, you have Doug here. And then meanwhile on the opposite side for the Union campaign, who's on CSA, you have Dragon here from 9th Corps. So, leading the USA campaign on CSA this round is first Delaware, and then leading the CSA campaign who's playing on Union is going to be Colquitt's Brigade. So that's who in charge of this round. CSA has forced Union down to engage. CSA's up by almost a half of the stage, so I reckon they're not going to try to cap point. They've got 37 minutes to hit Union down to breaking, which is 2 more morale stages away. And, I mean, Union main spawn is right there. And so there's not a whole lot of places Union can kind of turtle if they want to. So, you can see CSA, they aren't down any flags. Same with the, actually, that's a CSA flag there. But it looks like there's a Union officer, probably the RD officer that spawned in. So, Union kind of reforming. That CSA group over here is still trying to hold, which they don't have flags here anymore. So Union's going to be able to at least hold that line. I'll be intrigued to see if Union pushes back out. I mean, in theory, CSA, as Union, you would want CSA to cap, and then maybe you regain some tickets. Because the first morale stage for Union was lost within a matter of moments. And by the way, the beginning part that we missed, we'll at least be able to see that in the end, because like I was in the server, I just was taking care of something quickly. So CSA wants to kind of hold on Union left side. Now there's a couple trees and whatnot that they can use to their cover. Also looks like there's a slight defilade here that they're holding to be within that cover. We have 42nd PA there. Meanwhile, on the right side here, you got 1st Delaware out for kind of a flank.
East-southeast.
Kind of a flank, not really a whole flank, but...
Right to the left corner of that bush.
So, you have some Union pulling off a little bit. I mean, Union might just sit here. I almost wonder if this camp, if Union just should defend from here. I don't know, though. Because every time I've seen Union hold up here, they get thrown back relatively quickly. I think there was one time it wasn't. That's just because CSA sat back and shot for a while. But the moment CSA started playing aggressive, they were able to break through. But maybe Union's going to try to push out here. You got Colquitt shifting on this way. They might just be shifting down to also get better shots on the CSA guys. And our push a little forward there, first Delaware. So they have kind of thrown them back. And so for now, it looks like Union's just spreading out as much as they can, trying to get into a shootout. Drain this clock as best as they can. I don't know if it can be sustained, though, because I mean, we're 10 minutes in the round and Union is down morale stage and a quarter of a morale stage on top of that. And that's a pretty fast pace, especially for the beginning of the match. Normally, the defensive tickets are lost at a slow rate at the beginning of the match just because the attackers usually have to move up. They got to get in position, kind of figure out what they're doing when things actually get going. You obviously have a plan going into it, but things change when you get in there. As with everything. And so, for them to get Union down a significant amount so far is pretty good. Usually you'll see teams get the defenders down a morale stage by the 30-minute mark, which is 15 minutes into the round. So we'll see if the ticket rate is sufficient. CSA looking to try to up this pace a little bit. Got Iron Brigade, 36, IVB. They're trying to hit Union's flank and just kind of turn their flank, which really, if you're going to try to do this, this is the only way to do it. Although some FSB guys are sticking a little back, which is a little confusing. 11 Mississippi and 12th VA, mostly 12th VA. Actually, it's really a mix. They're trying to throw them off. This will probably hit CSA down to engaged. So you got some more Union going down here. See, the longer that the longer that
oh my god, they're shooting us.
These Union guys are here trying to kill these CSA guys. CSA is going to get a good few amount of kills just from them sitting here. I mean, those flags spawn a dude in every 5 seconds, and so that's why I have more Union rushing over here. Officers do have a Steam chat, so they can communicate with each other, hopefully effectively. You don't always see that, though. So they're just rushing forward, trying to deal some damage. They protect the flag, which is the most important part. And they've knocked Union down a little more. If CSA is going to push up on that snake fence, Union's either got to retreat with everybody or they just got to charge in with everyone. Union kind of half went at that. And CSA was kind of able to linger there for a while and get CSA, or get Union tickets down some more. And something that I think we should also look at is the weapons that both sides have on this map. So Union's got the 1st U.S. sharpshooters, which, what a surprise, they have the Sharps Infantry Rifle. And the other regiment that the Union has is the 32nd Ohio, which has the Lorenz and the Springfield 61. So half the Union team is going to have kind of faster loading shots, which if we look at this, we can see that is Colquitt's Brigade. And there's only one company of these just because it is the Sharps. So everyone else is on that other company. Meanwhile, if we look on the CSA front, you have the 4th North Carolina, which is one of the regiments here. It has the option of the Springfield 42, which has that buck and ball, which is going to be devastating at shorter to medium rangers. Shoots like a shotgun versus your normal one-shot. And then they have the option of the Enfield and 55 Springfield as well. But most of them, if not all of them, are going to be choosing the 42. Now, the other CSA company is the 1st Virginia Cavalry, which, similar to the 1st U.S. Sharpshooters, has that Sharps weapon as well. You can see the rest of the CSA team is on the regiment with buck and ball. So, if anything, the whole CSA team has a unique weapon, and they just kind of have rolled over Union. So, we're almost a third of the way through the game in terms of time. And Union is getting close to taking losses. Union's got to change the strategy up at this point. either Union needs to turtle and force CSA to cap the point, or they need to kind of play aggressive and charge out. I mean, CSA, similar to Union, is spread out, so they could try to defeat him in detail, but I assume if Union moves to one side and then charges, before they even charge, CSA would recognize that and maybe move their guys to deal with that. Because, again, outside of the sun, which makes it kind of difficult to see, it's an open field. So, Union's got to change up the strat. They're just going to slowly die here. And that is what you don't want. I mean, see, I unironically think forcing CSA to cap is the only way to kind of go about this. So, Colquitt's is shifting off to the left. HL looking to join. Meanwhile, on the other side, looks like Union not really defending the center line, so Iron Brigade's going to try to push up and take advantage of that. Davis Brigade's pushing over for Union. And it's only Davis Brigade, too. It's like a couple more Union are moving this way, but Davis Brigade getting shot up point blank with that bucking ball. London, Mississippi trying to get behind. And Union's about to drop into taking losses. Makes me wonder, is Union charging on the other side? No, they're not. So IB, their flag runs away. A couple more Union move in here. And so Union will retake that ground. They need to get these CSA flags down, but good little play there from Omni. Because at this point for CSA, as long as you keep your flags up and you keep dealing damage like that, you're going to win this game in no time. Union just taking losses. It looks like the Colquitt's guys fell back. So, looks like some CSA have moved up a little closer on this side as well. It's the FSB guys. So far, well played, very well played here from CSA. It looks like Iron Brigade, they're shifting off to the right side, and so CSA, nearly their whole team is over up here on this right side. And so, with 28 minutes on the clock, they can do kind of whatever they want. If they want to, you know, sit and shoot this out, they can. If they want to keep up that aggression, that can work as well. I mean, that's the nice part about being aggressive early on, is that regardless of if it works or not, I think a lot of War of Rights comes down to the charges. And, you know, if you lose them early, or if you win them early, regardless, you have plenty of time to react and change up your strategy. So, speaking of that, changing strategies, Union's pushing out. CSA not really on the side, so Union looking to maybe push up, try to get a flank on them. HL and London, Mississippi kind of in this center side. And then further on Union right, you have a couple 12th VA guys pushing forward at those FSB guys. Meanwhile, 42nd PA looking to scope around here. I don't know if they were alerted that Union was this way, but Union is about to get behind the CSA over here. So you got IB, you got 9th Corps 1st Delaware here. And London, Mississippi kind of coming in a little spread out. They didn't move their flag up, so that's a nice couple of kills there. Rest of Union starting to move out as well. 42nd PA coming back to reinforce. You got HL. Further behind you have the 15th Alabama, and here we go.
I am a Sigma.
15th Alabama coming through the tent line to reinforce. Meanwhile, the rest of CSA is going the other side. Further in the distance, looks like Colquitt's brigade is charging in on that front. Union trying to find some way to get a ticket lead, but they're so far down, I don't even know if you can come back from that big of a deficit. We don't know the exact ticket rate, but it's not favorable to CSA by any means. So So CSA winning the charge on the Tats Colquitt's kind of stat on the artillery, which is unfortunate for Colquitt's because CSA in a moment might turn on them. You see a couple of CSA already starting to do that, but
Yeah. Oh shit.
so the rest of CSA is actually pushing over to where they think Union is. I don't know if they realize that Colquitt's is there, and they're going to be able to get up pretty much unscathed, but Union's almost down to breaking at this point.
Hey, babies. Keep an eye on the flag ahead.
Get your loads in your face, boys. Get ready.
Get wrecked.
No, don't get your loads. You're dying. I'm killing you.
So Union main spawns have pushed up. Both sides about to drop to their next stage. Union has lost the flag in the tent line. And so any second now we'll see that. There's really no chance Union can win anymore. They hit breaking. CSA in the center should start turning almost immediately to go to the center side of the camp. I don't know why they're not.
On your side. We do have artillery men, remember.
This is a campaign though, so they're gonna get back. I will say maybe CSA is trying to just rake up more casualties.
This is such a goated Fortnite strat, bro. Oh my gosh.
So CSA starting to cap. Iron Brigade and IVB trying to hold them off. But it looks like Union's not even really in a position to attempt this. They're not even trying. They're pulling back. So, that's a very quick first round. Again, apologies for missing that beginning part, but at least we're about to see it in a little overview that'll play. I mean, this map is hard to win as Union. It's hard to win as a defender, but when you're basically the entire opponent team has buck and ball with the Sharps, that is going to be insanely difficult to beat, and it's hard. It's hard. The ground is not great either. You can't really defend this ground. I mean, there's not a whole lot of positions you can defend. The attackers can just bonsai rush, and it's not like it's a flat, big open field to where Union can just shoot them like in Hooker's Push, which is our next round, for example. Like, that's a kind of a wide open field, and it's hard for Union as an attacker to approach because CSA, it's a large open field. CSA's got long, wide open shots. It's great. This map, you don't really have a long open field, and most of that ground is not great to defend with. So, good job to CSA. Very dominating win. And so, with that all being said, here's our little overview here. So looks like CSA went Union right, and yeah, they just pushed them right out. I mean, Union had to spread out initially, because that's what you do. You defend the whole width of the map because you don't know where they're going to push. So, and then CSA just pushed them right through the camp because you can't defend in that camp. It's like High Street. So, it's just chaos. Obviously, a little bigger than High Street. But with that all being said, we will see you all shortly for round number 2. Alrighty, here we are with the start of round number 2 on Hooker's Push. To whoever is talking about will be honed by Christmas in 61. I appreciate your confidence, even though this battle was fought in 1862. But anyways, with that all being said, so the sides have swapped. They're back on the original side. So USA Campaign is playing Union, and CSA Campaign is playing CSA. Leading both campaigns today. For the Union campaign side, you have the 42nd PA who's leading them, and then 12th VA is leading the CSA side. So, with that all being said, let's look at the server numbers quickly. It's a 5-man inbound towards CSA. Union has 1 on artillery, and looks like they're just maybe taking the officer. CSA has 5, so the inbalance is 1 towards CSA side. Very, very scary. Anyways, CSA, they've got the 13th Georgia Regiment. They have the choice between the Enfield and the Springfield 55, whereas the 6th Louisiana has the choice of the Enfield and the Springfield 55. Whereas the Union here, 2nd U.S. Sharpshooters here, I'm assuming they have the Sharps carbine, like the 1st U.S. Sharpshooters, and then the 2nd Wisconsin has the option of the Lorenz and the Springfield 61. So, everyone has one-shot rifles, none of the buck and ball, so we'll see who can win this game. Now, it's become quite an argument some days regarding the Sharps unit on the Union side. There's only one company for the Sharps. We saw it last round. And there can only be a limited number of guys on that Sharps company because they have a very overpowered weapon. And on a smaller pop server, you wouldn't want the whole Union team taking Sharps, which can reload at twice the speed of every other weapon in this game. So, obviously, that'd be a huge advantage to the Union. But as you get to these larger pop servers, what happens is you have a regiment that's locked to, like, I think 20-some guys in total. That's including, like, officer, NCO, flag bearer, and all the privates. So they're locked to 20 guys, meaning the rest of the Union team has to fit into 2 companies or 1 regiment. And that means they're all spawning on 2 flags. Sure, the flags are spawning in a guy in every 5 seconds. So you get 2 guys every 5 seconds. And that's still pretty fast. But when you compare that to a CSA team that has 4 normal companies, so they got 4 flags out spawning in their whole team in a lot faster. So if Union gets into some kind of engagement with the whole team, like a melee, they need to win it fast and decisively, or else CSA will just be able to out-respawn them. That's why Union kind of can't do short shootouts on this map. Maybe if they have the Sharps, but regardless, Union strategy generally on this map, Union will have the Sharps go over here, which they have. Union infantry, the rest of them, will either push through this left side and turn up CSA's flank, or they will push up this right side. Now, historically, years ago, the strategy would be to go up this right side because you have a couple of rocks that you can use as you approach since this whole field is wide open. Whereas recently, Union likes to go down this left side a little more. And it might just because CSA has a nice defensive line here, and when you get to the larger pop servers, it might be harder to break through. Don't necessarily exactly know, but regardless. CSA, you can see they're on point here. It's a very nice spot here. They are deflated here as well, so 11 Mississippi here.
Make sure you got your
The Sharps on the right
everybody.
cannot see them. So it's a very nice spot. It's on point. If anything, that forces Union to charge, or if they want to cap from the open field, they can. But as mentioned, you're in an open field. So with that all being said, the CSA defensive line, on the far left, you have the Davis Brigade. You have Colquitt's to their right, and then 11 Mississippi. And more 11 Mississippi. Meanwhile, towards the CSA center, you have the 15th Alabama and 12th VA. And on the far right, you have HL and then some more 15th Alabama. Meanwhile, on the Union side, holding up with the Sharps here, you have the 42nd PA. And back in the corner on Union right, you have FSB. A little further forward where they're pushing up a little closer, you have Iron Brigade, IVB, 36th New York, 1st Delaware, and 9th Corps and Midwest Brigade is holding a little further back. So the thing is with this map is obviously, as mentioned, the respawn rate is not favorable towards Union. You only got 3 flags. 2 of them kind of really only matter for Union. The Sharps doesn't really matter. And so keeping those flags alive and consistently spawning guys in is really, really important. Because, again, Union main spawn is all the way back there by the far artillery there, or the caissons rather. And that's a 3.5-minute hike from there all the way up here. And so, if you lose the flags up here as Union, or you get team wiped, it is atrocious. And so, you might think you have a lot of time on this map when you really don't. So that's why you see Union kind of playing cautiously. They can't do this for too long, but you can understand why they're doing it. However, they're pushing up 1st Delaware and IVB. They're charging right in on Colquitt's. Meanwhile, you got the rest of the Union kind of holding back there. So on the other side, 9th Corps is getting up close. CSA kind of backing up. That's the thing. CSA, they need to reinforce. They can't let the Union overwhelm one of their flanks. They got to work together and push Union out here. You cannot let Union pick you apart. It's the one thing you can't do here. Which, kind of looking for CSA that Union's like half being aggressive here. And I think another important thing to look at is we look at the tickets. Union looks like they're slightly ahead. CSA is actually countercharging this. Union brought a flag up very, very far, and so you can kind of understand the aggression here from CQB. Looks like the rest of the Union's going to collapse, though, because, again, they got to protect the flag. 42nd PA, the skirms are moving up on that side.
Стреляем, режем всех, кого видим. Атакуют справа, справа атакуют. Стоять.
So Union flag still down. And CSA slowly starting to take over this. I don't know where the second Union flag is. But Union is, the Sharps have capped the point. CSA is not down a whole lot of tickets. If anything, they might be tied or a little ahead. So capping the point there just stops the clock. It gives Union a little more time. Now, CSA would regain tickets if they were down percentage-wise, but they're not, so this is not a bad cap. Even delaying the round by a minute or two is not a bad idea. So that Union flag that was down gets picked up and brought out. Looks like, is this the other Union flag? No, it's just FSB. Where is the third Union flag? Got one here. Did it get brought over here? I mean, that's the Sharps flag. Does Union just not have a third flag? Am I missing? What? There it is. Oh, no, it's not. It just... What? I don't see a down flag marker. So somebody has it. Whoa. I've never hit that spectate button on something before. Alright. Oh, it's a freaking stick. That's why I can't see it. Okay. The mystery is solved. We did great things. Anyways, CSA have finally retaken the point. They're down on tickets a little, so they'll regain some. Don't know where they necessarily dropped, but the fact that CSA, I mean, that was a 2-minute counterattack phase, and although it didn't do a whole lot, it's going to allow these guys, give them more time to get back up there, and it lets the Union get everyone down on tickets a little more, which isn't a bad idea necessarily. So, I still can't believe that flag was a stick. That happens sometimes. Like, the flags will disappear, they turn into sticks, and then people's faces will start turning into ghosts, and it's a scary thing. So, both sides getting closer and closer to engage. Union is kind of going to be out of the action. The Sharps, they, like I said, they have twice the reload speed, but the downside being that they can't melee as well. The gun's about half the length. And so, you can understand why they're not there necessarily charging. But you can see CSA, for the most part, is hiding behind the defilade. I mean, you do have HL up here. They're just kind of using a bush as cover, which works just as well. And obviously, if someone shoots a bullet through the bush, you're not making it. But we're not seeing anyone drop, despite the sharp shooting. Anyways, Union looks like they're kind of starting to make their presence known on this side again. They have brought that flag over here. That's going to be really hard to see. It's weird, like, once Templar dies, which we'll see when that happens, but, like, the flag will drop and it'll look normal. But then, once it gets picked back up, it looks like a stick, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe not. I guess this is a Mythbuster episode, not a Grand Campaign broadcast. So Union's still reforming. I mean, it's been a few minutes. That's just what's going to kind of happen here. You can't get wiped. You can't lose the flags. And I think, yeah, it looks like mostly, if not all, the Union team is back up in action. Union guys heading that way, which is interesting. But CSA is about to hit engaged. So 18, probably 17, sorry, 19 minutes to get them down to engage, that is. It's... Sorry, not... Oh my goodness. You know, we're having a whole lump of issues today. You get the flag. You get me thinking the round starts at 50 minutes instead of 45, which I don't know if I'd oppose. You know, that's the one part of Hell Let Loose that I like, at least private events versus War of Rights events. The Hell Let Loose games are, like, Warfare is like an hour long or something like that. And so normally they play one match and they call it a day. And that's really, it's neat. I don't know, 1 hour just feels right. Whereas War of Rights, the thing is, Hell Let Loose, it's a lot harder to end a round quickly in Hell Let Loose versus War of Rights. And so you'll get some War of Rights matches that go 10-15 minutes. Like last round's went 20 minutes. And then you'll get some War of Rights matches that go 45-50 minutes. I've played an hour and 12-minute War of Rights match before. That was in 2020. It was Cook's Countercharge, who won his Union. Anyways, that's a story for a different time. Union's collapsing in. They're going to go for a charge here. Hit CSA down to engage. They might hit it as well, but... I mean, CSA not wholly reacting to this.
Hold on. Nice, shoulder. Charge maintenance.
I think CSA is going to take this. But it doesn't look like Union brought their flag up so they couldn't get respawns there, but at this point you're just trying to get CSA down on tickets and trying to preserve your flag. So they're going to be able to respawn back up here and get ready within probably 2 or so minutes. They also got a CSA flag down, but that should probably be picked up.
You got my friend, I got you. No. Ow.
So that kill right there gets Union down to engage. CSA is at least going to be able to get that flag, but it's not a bad charge from Union. Not a bad charge at all. So, yeah, when I played this game in 2020, there was a Cook Countercharge round. I was playing with IVB, and we won as Union. And how the round went is CSA decided to not play aggressive at all, which is what you need to do on Cooks to win. You can't be ultra conservative the whole round. But CSA would run up and try to fight us, and we didn't want to fight that because Cook's Countercharge is heavily favored to CSA. If you get in any type of engagement, you probably lose that for the most part. And so we fell back and held in the cemetery, which we could see that's the cemetery there. So we were holding back here. You have point of contention right here. And how is this in bounds? Anyways, you can see it's slight elevation changes. And so CSA couldn't really get to the cemetery. It's like out of bounds going down that road path there to the cemetery. And so CSA couldn't get to us. They weren't getting us down on tickets, which if you want to force a defender out from turtling, which is what we were doing, you capture the point. So what would happen is CSA would run up, tap the point, and then run all the way back like over here. And then us as Union, we wanted the black timer ticking, so we'd run up, cap the point, retake it rather, and then just fall back. And that process there of the cap, decap, it happened the entire round. And eventually we were just able to get the black timer down. I don't remember if it was from final push or just having the black timer tick naturally. I think it just ticked naturally down. Because if you play an hour and 12 long minute match, that thing is probably ticking down to 0 normally. But now we won that. And that was one of the big battles I remember. I think I remember my first event too. I remember these partially too because I have a unlisted recording of them on my old channel. Which is Asgardian Eagle, which is my normal online gamer tag. But they're not publicly available, but I mean, I might make them. It's kind of neat to look back at old matches every once in a while and see how the games change. Also just to remember. So, CSA is kind of giving up this corner rock. I mean, they've been charged twice. They won the first time, not so much the second time. And maybe that's why they don't want to take it. They're just giving up ground because they are down almost a third of a stage right now, and that's not really great. So Union realizing CSA is not there, or at least seeing that they're not getting shot up a bunch, have pushed up and started kind of a shootout with CSA. Now they are on point. I do not think they should cap right now. You're up by a third of a morale stage. I don't think you need to capture the point and give CSA a chance to regain tickets. It's hard to get a ticket lead on this map. and you don't want to necessarily give that up. Even if it is an easy map, you still don't want to give a ticket lead up. And so it looks like Union, they're pulling off of it. So I like that. You still got plenty of time on the clock, too, to get them down to breaking. So there is zero need to early cap. They're still capping. Some of these first Delaware guys are on cap. You need to be in at least skirmishing, so you need to be around 2-3 guys to cap. If one person's on point while they're in skirmishing, they are capping. Who's capping? They're going to do it. Those Midwest Brigade guys almost capped the point. I'm shocked the point extends that far out, but I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. So, Union has to kind of spread out in the open. They're teetering on the cat because you have people on the edge of these rocks. You get what they want to be in cover, but I mean, at this point, it's fine if Union takes some hits. They can trade tickets. They can lose tickets in an engagement, but as long as they keep the flags up and they can keep chiseling CSA away, that's really all that matters. And in these open field shootouts with everyone having similar weapons, this is going to favor the attackers. They have more tickets overall, and generally these shootouts are going to be the one-to-one trade unless you're heavily outnumbered, which a lot of Mississippi is, and they got to pull out. So CSA retreating a little more, trying to set up defensive spots. That's the weird thing. I haven't seen Union charge there in a long time, at least as a consistent strategy for hookers, and it seems to be working. Granted, part of the issue is I don't know if CSA doesn't want those sharps running up on the flanks, but these guys have refused to move. And CSA is just heavily outnumbered over here, and so they're getting ran over, and that's causing a huge ticket deficit. I mean, sure, the sharps are going to be annoying shooting from a long distance, but I don't think they're that annoying to justify not sending everyone over here and letting Union just take the spot, because they're about to push CSA down to taking losses. So, nice already shot Union. Oh, what the? That was a good one. That hit a guy or two. Still not great, but you know, at least they hit. Gotta think of the positives there. So, Union's gonna have 23 minutes to hit CSA down to breaking once they drop to taking losses. Plenty of time. You can keep kind of the shootout going. And Union's played this round pretty well so far. As CSA is making mistakes, not reinforcing the positions being charged. And it's biting them in the butt. DB's gets charged up here.
Принимаем, здесь мы погибнем, стоять!
Это наша могила, здесь мы умрем, солдаты. Отсмена, отходим.
The DB's really trying to hold this when they're outnumbered.
Подняли, бегом! Уходим, уходим!
And so they're going to get out there. But they took a few casualties, which again, that's just going to slowly add to what Union's going to be able to do here. Are they going to get the flag? Nope, they're not. Kind of far back too, where even if the flag was dropped, CSA would probably get it back. You usually don't see Union push that far down there to shoot towards CSA, most because CSA spawning and Artie's behind where they would be. Hey, that was not bad. The unfortunate part is that Artie hit a good shot. It killed 5 guys, which you might think is great. That's on the higher end of artillery kills. The issue, though, is those flag respawns. It's going to get those 5 guys back in 25 seconds. Which might not seem like... Which might not be a crazy amount, but that's still pretty fast. It's like... The artillery is really, I think, best used when in support of infantry. It's like when infantry is about to charge, if artillery shoots some shots in, that's beautiful. Artillery on its own cannot do much. I mean, again, you hit a line, you kill 5, they respawn in 25 seconds. Great. What have you done? You prevented 5 guys from shooting once or twice before they get back in. So, it's the unfortunate reality. And that flag change fundamentally hurt artillerists. Whether you think that's a good thing or not is up for you to decide. But when guys are able to respawn faster, that's going to hurt you. And also, since they're respawning in faster, there's a lot more killing on the field. And so the devs did a blanket 20% decrease to ticket loss per death. So everyone's losing less tickets when they die. So
Сказали же слева от кессона.
it just hurts artillery. Similar to how it shoots the strategy of sitting and shooting for most of the rounds. It's kind of worked here. Granted, we've seen some good Union charges though. So
Давайте, нечего бояться, смерть это только начало.
Лежайте в укрытии. Ясно? Отходите чуть назад, закинь.
Отходим чуть назад после выстрела, заряжаемся.
Союзники за укрытие считают.
Ой-ой-ой.
Нет.
so
Я сказал, заряжаем за укрытие.
yeah. That's the thing. Unions just played bully ball. I can understand having a tinier force. You got 15th Alabama guys and a couple artillery guys here. I think that makes sense. I really do think HL should not be over here. The thing is see, I don't know how well Union. Actually, we can kind of figure this out. I mean, here's where you shoot. You could see. And I mean, you cannot see HL right now, so you don't know the exact number of guys there. And the odds that Sharps play aggressive and charge is pretty low. So, I mean, if I were CSA, I would only put like 10 guys over here with the flag, like, and then the rest need to be over here. Because the thing is, CSA is spending a lot of manpower to fight Sharps in a shootout from a distance. Obviously, maybe they just want to plug that hole so you can just push along that side, but I don't know if it's been worth it. Anyways, Iron Brigade is starting to shift over that way with one of the 2 Union infantry flags, which I find a little fascinating. Maybe they don't think CSA is going to try to charge and retake, but
I think you guys would be better off just spread out.
see what CSA's got in terms of a view from where they're shooting out.
Focus the rocks! Focus the rocks!
West side.
Don't wave.
Meanwhile, you got
FSB,
Union
get to the Arties.
side
Finish the
there.
Artie. Fuck 'em up.
They're off by the artillery on the Hagerstown Turnpike. And so, this is War of Rights at its finest. It's not the compilation moments that you see on YouTube, or any other platform for that matter.
Shoot. Keep shooting.
Jesus. No.
It's like, War of Rights can be like golf in a lot of ways. Looking at a lot of grass from a sky cam. Maybe not a sky cam, but that artillery shot just ricocheted off the caisson and exploded over there.
What?
I think it killed one and knocked down one, but
my
it didn't kill any of these guys.
I am holding this position, or I am not a bitch.
And so, I think Iron Brigade's trying to flank around this side. Looks like the Sharps are going to join them. So, see, now having HL over here now makes sense. But, we'll see how they do here. HL shooting the volley, I don't think they got a single person. They're trying to stay a little deflated, but CS has got that defilade, but if Union gets up here, they can also use that defilade as well.
I'm not even sure if they hit that. That's the thing.
And they're about to walk up on HL and have great shots.
Over the hill. Get those loads, boys. Load faster. Load faster.
Get them in. Checked and loaded. On the
Warm
line.
it up. Return fire.
40-second PA. They're not hitting a single shot. I mean, they just hit one there.
They can't shoot for
those IV guys are not hitting much either.
Get that flag up, get that flag up.
They seriously, HL should be wiped right now. That's embarrassing. Meanwhile, on the other side, a couple 12th VA guys are shifting over, trying to flank. Not a whole lot, but CB and 42nd are kind of turning towards them. On the other side, CSA is trying to retake the ground. Maybe because they heard Union pushed up on the other side.
Wow, this is look at those ugly gators. You mess with the honk, you get the bonk, brother.
So they're going to be able to throw Union off. They're not going to get that flag. CSA should try to pursue and get that flag if possible. Looks like they are. I mean, again, the nice part with War of Rights is you know that your opponent has roughly the same amount of players on their team as you do. So if you see, for example, let's just describe a scenario. If you are grouped up as a team and the enemy is shooting from all around you, even though they're all around you, that means their line's very thin because they have the same amount of players as you do and they're stretched over a long area. And so you charge them out. CSA, they might have realized Union was weak there and also heard their friendlies were being charged out by Sharps and normal infantry, so they realized, hey, maybe we could take this. So they were able to push out and take that back, but Union's also pushed out this side. And now you have the good chunk of Union team pushing up the rear side of CSA, and they're making good progress so far. CSA, meanwhile, is shifting over to this side.
How's it going, Johnny? Well, come back, buddy.
So Union holding off their little advance. Oh, maybe, maybe not. And there's a slight defilade here. Not really using it, though. Any second now, CSA is going to drop into breaking. Union's almost up by a whole morale stage. Roughly 3/4 of one right now.
Boys, down here on the hill to the left, down here on the hill to the left.
Sorry, Joe. Losing west.
HL over here. Captain's Legion on the line over here. Come on, boys. HL, we're over here.
And so Union backing off a little bit there. Maybe they're going to try to circle around and just cap from the open field. That could be likely. Maybe Union has the Sharps. So it's not going to be the easiest thing for them to necessarily win a melee. Definitely possible, but makes it a little difficult. So you do have the Sharps moving out into the field here. I don't know if they're on cap or not. I mean, CSA still has control of it as they're all holding basically on it. And we'll see what Union does here. Again, they've got 14 minutes to knock them down to last stand if they want to. At that point, they can't respawn. Definitely plenty of time to do that. But they might just try to go for the win and finish this round right now. I mean, the imbalance is 4 towards CSA's side. Union has 7 compared to the Confederates who have 5, so Confederates here have a 6-man infantry imbalance. And so if they have everyone on their team on point, they definitely should be able to do that. But so Union's starting to set up. They're getting closer on the point. They back off of CSA right. You do have IB starting to push up a little bit. They're just trying to get some nice shots there on the CSA. And there they go. Whether it be an infantry shot or artillery shot. They hit breaking, and Union not going to charge. Oh, they might. I don't think they are. I'd be surprised if they charge this way. Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to get up and close while on cap. And they've got a numbers advantage. CSA has got to get on point or they might have to charge here. The whole Union team is kind of setting up a long defensive line. Similar to CSA who's getting close to them. I mean, you got some CSA guys over here. They're getting a flank, but they're not on point. HL, you guys got to get over to point. There's no way that's on point. And now CSA is starting to go in piecemeal here. First you got Colquitt's going in, which they're just going in by themselves. Union's collapsing in on them. Union's going to be able to hold that. Center of the CSA line is now starting to collapse. Union still capping point. 11th Mississippi, 12th VA going in, 15th Alabama as well, but Union wiping CQB is now going to turn and be able to defeat them because they know they outnumber them most likely. Union flag trying to get out. It goes down. HL charging on the far side. Union needs to get that flag back up ASAP, and they will. Looks like they've also won the charge. They're still capping point. Meanwhile, on this side, HL collapsing in on IVB. At least a few of those guys that are alive, and they get wiped. So they're going to try to go in. Numbers are very close on the field. Still, Union has more. Never mind. It's going back in CSA's favor. CSA is at least keeping the flags up, and as long as CSA has their flags up, they should be able to out-respawn Union. And even if this charge doesn't work for Union, Union's still in a great spot. Union just needs to get the flags out. It looks like CSA is going to hold this. Flags need to get out. I don't know why this guy's quick timing with the flag out. Dude, run. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oi, you ugly bastard.
I can't put down the gun.
Calm down, goddamn. I'm just fucking
Why
you
was-
guys out there. Holy shit, y'all suck.
Why was he not sprinting?
Press T, find the star, HL.
What? That wasn't a low-level player either. I mean, yeah, that was not a low-level guy. I don't know why he was quick timing that out. Now, that's an infantry flag, and that's huge. It does have a 5-minute despawn timer on it, so Union will get it back by the 5-minute mark. But by that point, it can create some desperation. I don't know if it matters as much, though, because CSA is close to last stand, and if they get knocked in the last stand, they can't respawn at this point. So even though Union lost the flag, and that's pretty terrible, I think Union's still in a perfectly fine spot. That charge on point in the cap attempt, if anything, brought CSA tickets down a significant amount. And that it did. So Union's going to spend a few minutes here getting out of spawn, getting their way back up. CSA, are 2 Union flags down? I mean, that's a Sharps flag, which isn't as big of a deal, but Union should not have lost those flags. That's a mistake. I don't know if it'll result in them losing, but yikes. I mean, if the match was any amount closer, then losing the flags would be terrible. So, Union still moving out. They won't really be battle ready for about another 2 or so minutes. CSA holding basically where the flags are, which lucky for them are next to defensive spots. I think Sharps were maybe trying to reform here, but that was a good push off there from HL.
So we got all the smart people with us.
The fucking shell flew straight over my head and hit him.
Union might not get that Sharps flag back, but Union's got to find some way to
I was there.
get CSA down. Honestly, if I were Union, I mean, Union could just have a little shootout with this for at least the next few minutes and then go in, but you might have some Union guys trying to trickle forward and get the flag, and if someone picks up that flag and dies, that 5-minute timer will restart, and that's something you don't want to do. So Sharps are trying to move out to get their flag, and I'll see the CSA there.
Far, Will. South. It seems like it.
And honestly, here's one of the few moments where artillery can shine for Union. One of the very few moments. Looks like they're going to try to get that. If he picks it up and it gets dropped, that restarts the 5-minute timer. CSA's got to make sure this thing is killed. And that is a little bit of a blunder there from CSA. I mean, they're holding back behind the hill to avoid the ticket loss, but yikes. Now, Union, I think, making a great decision. They're trying to get their third and final flag, and so they're going to charge CSA. CSA, obviously not wanting an engagement, is going to back out of there so they don't hit last stand. So Union looking to get a couple more kills there. Union Sharps get their flag back. Tyndall's trying to run up and get some shouts off.
Get on the rocks.
So Union moves on the point. They're starting to cap. That's going to force CSA to get close. CSA had the charge last time, remember. It's not like the whole CSA team was on point, but this might force CSA to go in again. They're going to try to wait as long as possible, though, I reckon. Or at least try to cap the point from the other side.
Укрытие вернуться.
We're about to go out.
Мать, не хочу умирать, парни, вернулись.
So let Mississippi kind of going a little far forward, in my opinion. Just by a hair. Actually, are they deflated? They are not. I mean, they're getting shot up too. CSA over here as well. I don't know why they're pushing this far forward. At this point, CSA, you're not getting Union down the final push. The only way you're winning is by knocking Union flags out, which is why you see them charging here, although they're just charging in by themselves. Colquitt is. Don't know why the rest of CSA is not going in with them. So they're going to get wiped and they're going to die. You can see CSA main spawns have come back. I mean, if they were dead, they get instantly respawned. Rest CSA looking to collapse on Union Center.
Hi, Johnny Reb. Meet Bayonet. He'll stab you up your ass. Press T, lads. Press T, I beat.
So Union still winning the point. Union now on both sides collapsing in Sharps as well.
Not so fast, buddy. Come on. If you run, you're a coward.
And that is going to be the end of our round. So, very systematic win there from Union. Very systematic. I mean, they just shot CSA down a little bit, charged them out a few times, and they worked well. CSA did not move in to reinforce their friendlies in those charges, which allowed Union to kind of win that out and get a nice little ticket lead that they were able to keep through the end of the round. So, very well done on their part. So, with that all being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon where you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord, merch, Instagram, and TikTok links in the description if you want to check those out. But regardless, I appreciate you all being here, and we will see you in the next one. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.